Attention, attention, overly blunt in this one. First to mention, gotta get your Thursday right for the weekend. Overly blunt podcast for the treatment. Keeping this shit 100 not a notch low. Cause 99 too far from a hundo. New week, new Thursday. OP.
That's literally like, yeah, gotta take my calcium supplement.
Man, fatherhood is scary though. Fatherhood is a very scary type of subject for me.
Yes.
You've been in a relationship. You just got engaged. Congrats on that, by the way.
Oh man, thank you, bro. Thank you. I mean, I have no
intentions yet.
No current desire to
have
father anything beyond every 8 bars.
Oh, okay.
I just gotta father that first.
Okay.
And then after that,
you want to be sustainable and comfortable.
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay.
The thing is, like, I mean, as long as I'm renting, I don't
want kids.
Yeah, and I'm like, I want to say I'm intermittent fasting, but I'm really just not eating.
Yeah, no, that's the
and being irresponsible.
That's the millennial quote unquote way to say I'm fasting.
Yeah, I'm like fasting. And
like you really just not eating.
Yeah, I'm malnourished. You feel me? that's really what it is, bro.
You know what I mean?
Time, I've been on big Kenya shit. You feel me? I've been on that
big Kenya shit.
I've been on a big Kenya diet. You feel me? But yeah, that's sure. Whatever. On the intro, my bad.
How you guys doing today?
What's up, everybody? This is the Overly Blunt Podcast. This is the only podcast we're keeping it 99 is way too far from 100. It's a new week. It's a new Thursday. Got the good brother Manny with me here today, like always. We got another guest with us today.
Yes, sir.
We got Greg in here with us.
Yes, sir.
Is that what you go by, artist? I mean, yeah, is that what you call yourself to people? You have a rap name, or?
That's what my mom calls me, Greg.
Right.
Greg Newman is my artist name.
Greg Newman.
Yeah, GregNWMN.
So
one word.
You decided not to come with a rap name.
Oh, I feel like I thought Gregory was hard enough.
Right, yeah. That's
I felt like, it's like a little bit of PB. It has like a foot in the PBS Kids thing. It's marketable, you feel me? And then like the other half of it's a little conceptual. I made a little acrostic situation out of my last name. So
okay.
I like it.
Yeah, the last 4, basically my government last name is Newman, like NEWMAN.
Mm-hmm.
And I took the vowels out and I made it NWMN. It's an acronym for Now We Mirror Nature. And all of my records have basically personified nature elements woven and embedded in them. And then ultimately later on down the line, I'm gonna actually like use that as like an angel investment company to basically invest in like green energy and stuff like that. So the E and the A, I'm gonna reintegrate those, and those are gonna be electricity and air.
Fire. Oh, word. That's what's already all planned. You already had it all kind of.
Bro, the last name he making into a fucking more than just the legacy. The legacy is just gonna be what the last name brought.
Right.
Yes, sir.
And that's with the way it is. It's with the play of words.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Play of letters.
Yes, sir. Yeah, that's what I mean. I feel like,
bro, you built 2 grand ideas that not only benefit the earth, but benefit like people. Like it just benefits all around, but you did it through your last name just by like looking at the letters.
Yeah, bro. I feel like I definitely like when I figured it out, when I was just like moving things around and I figured it out, I was like, whoa, like this is something that is special. I gotta tuck this. I gotta get the LLC up, and we gotta make that happen because yeah, I think it's gonna be special, but people can't handle all that right now. They just want bars, so
they just want bars.
I just gotta start. I gotta start small.
Yeah, avalanche.
Small. That's it. Start small, bro.
Avalanche, bro.
Yeah, do you believe you have bars?
I would think so.
Right. Yeah.
I would think so.
You're confident in your music, or?
Yes, I'm extremely confident. I'm extremely confident primarily because I just know what goes into it. I think a lot of people kind of get disillusioned by like input and output. And that's not something that it was something I used to kind of get caught up in, but I realized that regardless of the situation, like you might put like, let's just say you put like an integral of like one in, and you get 0.25 out. You might only be getting a fourth of what you put in, but in a way like that's still better than 0. And as long as for me, this isn't about money or anything like that. I have a job that. I could walk away from rap and never have to release anything ever again, and I would be very much fine. And in a way, like a lot of people are doing this because it's like they have no options. And I think I'm a little bit more of a psychopath because because I have options, and I'm still doing it.
You're still doing it.
You know
So
what I
do
mean?
you feel a way when someone says when you playing some shit and they're like, "Oh, this is trash, bro"? You take it personal because of all of the work you put into it
Yeah,
that they don't know you put into it.
I would say, you know what's wild is that I've never been in a position where someone has ever said that to me, thankfully. I think mainly it's because I try to present myself as a person first.
Right.
And in a way, if someone, I think a lot of times when I hear people say, like, oh, like, or get that kind of response, I think a lot of times it's based off of, like, people, it's about approach. And I think, like, professionalism is something that's, like, very dwindling in, like, the hip hop space right now, primarily because, like, hip hop to me is, like, metaphorically like a penny stock right now.
Break that down.
Basically, like my theory is that it's very devalued to do something that I thought that it was that I think it was like once prestigious. Like when I was coming up and I'm watching some of these artists that I like really appreciate and I really respect. And this is even on a visual level. I'm sure you guys, and even I'm sure on a podcast audio level as well. It exists in small, micro forms in other, industries. But in a way, specifically to hip hop, I would say that when I would come up and I'm watching Lupe Fiasco, or I'm watching Eminem, or I'm watching Common, or I'm watching Jigga, or I'm watching any of these other artists do what they do, I would overtly know, even though I was a fan, that they're professional. And in a way, I think we're in a very, like, even though it's a beautiful thing where everyone feels like they can do anything, in a way, people kind of look at what, and I would say specifically hip hop, because it's looking like very much like a pyramid scheme right now. People see it as like, okay, I love what Kendrick's doing. I'm going to rap over something. I'm going to mix it in Audacity. I'm going to put it out. And I have the homie who has the plug to run my numbers up so it looks like I'm really all that. And in a way, I'm sticking my chest out like I'm the person who's put in X amount of hours. And those type of people who walk around and have the look and try to possess the aura of someone who's actually professional are the ones who are like probably going to get the back end of like, nah, this is trash, bro. But thankfully in my situation, which is really all I can speak on, is I try to approach people as a person first. I won't even necessarily like mention the music first, more so, or like that was the first time on air I've ever said that thing about my last name ever, because that was something that I tuck because I just like my only goal is like I would rather silently be a master and nobody know ever, and not collect like trophies and victories because I know as long as I know whom I know and I know what I'm capable of, the world doesn't need to know. I would love the world to know, but they don't need to know for me to be able to be happy.
Just the plus, huh?
You see what I'm saying?
Right,
so in
yeah.
a way, like, just basically sum it up. I was listening to an interview, and actually it was an interview. I was on a call, and one of the people on the call mentioned, what does it really mean to be a rapper? And, some of the people on the call were like, well, it means that, you do this, you do that, you have these certain facets or these certain plateaus and things like that. And he was like, why? And he kept on just, basically going down a layer, deeper. And he's like, is it when you release 10 albums? Is it when you release one record? Are you a rapper then? Is it when you perform? Are you a rapper then?
Right.
Maybe what about before records were even being recorded and tracked? Maybe it was before 1979 and people were grouping up at the local park and spinning ciphers between their homies and battling and stuff before 8-tracks were even a thing. You merge tapes. Were those people not rappers just because they don't have streaming? So in a way, to me, that let me know, and I just peeped game and I was just like, no, I do this. And everyone who may not feel like they fully connect with what I'm doing, they don't tell me I don't fuck with this, but they'll just be like, yo, keep on going, bro.
Right.
And the enthusiasm lets me know where I'm at. You know what I mean? So
right, yeah.
if they're enthusiastic about it, I'm like, wow, you really rock with it. And if they're like, oh yeah, it's cool, man. I'm like, cool, I appreciate it. That's all I needed to know.
Right.
My goal is to just change the gravity in that. I'm gonna convert you. You know what I mean?
So you're not really quote unquote chasing a hit. Kind of just like you love it. You love doing it. You love the art form.
Yeah, I'm a nerd. I'm a black nerd, bro. Like I'm a nerd. I'm just not even. I won't even put a color to it. Like I'm a nerd. Like at the end of the day, like I'm a nerd about words. I'm a nerd for puzzles. Like I'm a nerd for like putting different layers into like the music. Like just with like even the last name thing. Like what I was mentioning. Like this record.
Right.
This record is like. So there's a record I have called Avalanche, and it's featuring an artist named Daylight, and Daylight's even like a metaphor for nature.
Man, daylight, crazy.
You know, so like in a way, it's just like I have certain things that I
That's
do.
fire. I didn't even catch on to that till now.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah, man.
But I've heard the record many times, and I just never put Daylight, Avalanche, like the whole, because you have a bunch of environment, like it's all like earthy, environmental type things. Like your voice even has like that grounded sound where it's like
people told me gravelly.
Yeah,
people told me that, and like
so
in a way, like
and the breath control, the breath control is wild,
bro. Thank you.
Because it goes, you know how like look over your shoulder with K-Dot and Busta, how Busta's rapping and the beats like skipping.
Yeah.
Bus is a legend for sure.
Like he plays with rhyming like that in a sense. So like, yeah, it's weird, but there's a puzzle to it. There's definitely a puzzle to the music to where it's like, okay.
See, that says a lot because you're right. A lot of times rappers just beat Fruity Loop, like a little whatever. Then they put it on a GarageBand, record it, and then they put it out. But when you're breaking it down like that, that's why I be telling people like you rappers need to strategize better.
I just read this tweet, and I read it in an article before where they said Eminem treats the studio time like a 9 to 5. He takes a 1 hour lunch.
You have to.
He takes a 1 hour. Man. He takes a 1 hour lunch. He works no overtime.
And we could go directly into that because I have 100% theories on that. In a way, like a lot of these artists, and here's the thing, bro. I find myself in a lot of situations where, because again, like I was a supervisor at Starbucks before I had the current job I do now. And now, just to be transparent, like I handle logistics for a security company. So I'm handling people getting picked up at airports, flights, armed, unarmed stuff, like high-level clients, executives, and stuff like that. People, things you just can't mess up. You can't have a bad day. And so, in a way, it's very left brain intensive. And interestingly enough, it's something that's very artistic, very like layering, you have to look at it from a very right brain perspective. In a lot of studio spaces, I find myself in places where like people look at me like this hyper mature dude or something like that, where people are like, Greg's just like, I don't know, he seems like really rigid. And it's just like, I'm not really like, you can just tell, like I've managed people. Like, you know, it's like I've dealt with trying to manage people and people letting me down in the most crucial of times. And when you kind of like find that rigidity and you know that, okay, I can't fully rely on anybody. I know in a stressful situation I do this. I know how to keep calm under pressure. I'm not necessarily the wild and out fly by night kind of artist, you know. And in a way, it's like, yeah, everything. I kind of want to move with intention. And I think in a way, sometimes like in a lot of these 9 to 5 situations, to not destroy the bag and to pay your rent, you have to like have a level of like a plan, like what's next,
right?
You know. And a lot of these guys are just kind of coming in and they're like, oh, I'm just gonna do it. And it's like, no. You see, you're bagging on me because you're like, oh man, I'm a purist. I do this only, and I'm like that. Although commendable, like I mean, that's goals, you know?
Right? Yeah.
I mean, you know, even though you're sleeping in a sleeping bag in an alley, you feel me? Like commendable, but at the same time, like, you know, there's things that, there's definitely things I feel as though I need to take care of in terms of keeping a roof over my head. And there's balance. I don't want to be able to do 40 hours with my job if necessary. And then what do you think you're going to be doing once you, quote unquote, get on? That's a job, dog. You're going to have a manager. That manager's going to say, I need you here at this time. And then what are you going to do? Where's that wilding out attitude going at that point? What do you mean it's a job. And they'll pay you.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be bi-weekly, but they're going to pay you. And you're going to have everything that has to do with finance and money comes with constraints.
Being in the music game basically is freelance, huh?
That's exactly it. And in a way, I think...
Even when you're on, I feel, right? Because you got to constantly be finding the next deal, constantly finding the next record you're going to get on. And I never looked at it like that, but yeah.
Inconsistency, and this man can speak to it better than myself. But because I definitely feel like although I'm very high on the research part, I like knowing as many corners as I can before I get into a situation. And I definitely think my Achilles heel maybe is overthought in a way that prevents maybe the level of kinetic motion that probably would take for me to reach the next level, which I'm actively working to iron out. But in a way, it's like, you know, I want to make sure that at least I'm not going in and I can sit at a table and I can at least articulate myself in a way so a label's gonna be like, well, we can't really get one over on this guy. Because he has.
But that's what the label kind of don't want, bro, right?
Well, of course.
They don't want you to know and have that one up on them. Because they can't play you now. So now they can't sign you.
Yeah. And in a way, I just know that if that's the case, then I might be subjected to taking the stairs. Because people might, and I kind of wholeheartedly.
That's a bar.
Yeah, for the longest time, I thought maybe. For the longest time, I was like, cool, I was like, okay, I know what I need. Like, you know, I need management. I need this. I need that. In terms of a team aesthetic. And then I realized, you know, because I mean, I've met a lot of people and a lot of people, and all of them are awesome and all of them are doing great things. But in a way, they would all see what I was doing, which is something that I knew, whether it be, I mean, when I was performing out here in the IE, people, it was like defining. And even when I would go out to LA from being in the IE, and they're like, oh, you live in Riverside? And I'm out in LA, and it's still defining. I'm still standing out. And people are still giving me those props. And then I would meet these people, and I would show them a video, and they're like, yeah, this is crazy. I'm like, cool. And they're like, yeah, keep going. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
What? You know? So, and in a way, I was thinking, in their situation might be completely something I might not understand, but I realized, I was like, okay, bro, this doesn't mean you suck. This doesn't mean you're horrendous. And it doesn't mean you're a SoundCloud guy.
Right.
I mean, you still are professional in your own way, but you haven't met the people whom believe the way you believe, and some people might not be down to take the stairs. They might see me as like, okay, cool, like this guy has it together in a certain way and what have you, but you know, I might have this artist I'm working on, or I might be doing this with these people, or I don't know this guy, so, or they just got off a situation where they got messed up, you know, and they got off a situation where they have trust issues or something like that. But I was talking to a homie the other day, and I was like, as an artist whom hasn't necessarily had the visibility that, and I don't want to say I deserve, because I don't deserve anything. I just want to work hard, but in a way, it's like, as an artist in my position, my only job is to be ready. My own, like, beyond everything, it's like
that's motherfucking bars.
That's it, man.
Because when the opportunity comes, you're like, I got it.
That's my only job. I'm keep writing. It's like, but I'm not heard. Stop right there. Keep going. Keep writing. Now, by keep going, that's extremely trite and ambiguous these days, because everything is very played. But in a way, it's like my only job is just to be the most incredible version of myself I could potentially be, and create a level of, like, when the right person comes across me, they're like, wait, so I don't have to speak on behalf of this person. They can send their own emails. They're coding their own websites. They can basically they have a brand identity. They have an LLC planned out. They have a level of autonomy planned out. They work logistics in their 9 to 5, so they're going to be able to have the checks and balances with the booking agent. They've already garnered publication and pub on their own. They've been on Mass Appeal or HuffPost or Elevator, and they've done these certain things. They've been in certain circumstances where they've seen and they've really worn all these hats, but they not only worn all these hats, but they've made it rock in their own way, and,
right?
And it's more effective. Like, I've opened up for Mick Jenkins. I've opened up for Joey Perp. I've opened up for Day. I've opened up for quite a few people. So in a way, it's like touching the observatory, touching these different venues.
You're supposed to open up for Jay Electronica, huh?
That's correct. That show got canceled.
Yeah, I know. I was so mad I was gonna go.
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
I
forgot he told me too. Like, the homie Greg about to open up for Jay, and I'm like, word? He's like, time to get us backstage.
Yeah, man. We about to get that shit, and it was interesting because, like, and there's certain things that, like, you know, when you're dolo and you're by yourself, you kind of get, like, again, I sink back into, like, man, maybe it's just like I'm not good enough, or maybe it's.
But all those people you just mentioned and that you're open for, you fall in that. I think you fall in that category. I say. I see. I think. Yeah, I can see you as Mick Jenkins, because I was hearing a couple of tracks and you just it falls in that lane. I feel like.
Kinda. I mean, yeah.
Like conscious.
If I were to say, just because like
bars.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying, bars. But all the people he named have bars. Yeah. So that's that you can tell the type of level of music you're around,
Right?
Or you're associated with. You're not with the hey.
And what's funny, bro, and what's funny about that is that like it's because I think what people don't really see yet, and I think this is going to be something that's going to be very on the rise before people know it, and it's going to be very unconscious. Is it's about straddling. I'm really giving people like the medicine within the candy.
Don't always say that.
You see what I'm saying?
You have
like,
to.
basically
Fucking bars.
You know what I mean? Like the thing is like I'm giving these people gummy bites. You feel me?
Well,
Like,
yeah.
the thing is like I'm giving them the Flintstone joints because the thing is like if you hear the records and you see the performance, it feels Travis Scott.
Yeah.
It feels Denzel. It feels like because in terms of like at least when I'm emitting, maybe they're not responding that way because they don't know the records and ultimately they're kind of stuck because they're absorbing this new thing. And I have to realize, okay, they're not responding to you because you suck. You're just new. So in a way, it's like, okay, the shows that people have known, it's like if it's 10 people, 40 people, 100 people, like I can turn that bitch upside down. And now that I know, okay, I can do that, I can make it feel like you're at a Travis Scott, Denzel Curry, Slow Tie, Vince Staples, Isaiah, any of these people. I know I can do that. In a way, I do want to put a level of finesse in there, and back to basically to round that back out to the nerd subject, which is like, when you're playing a video game and you're on your Call of Duty campaign and you're going up and the checkpoint says go up and right, and then you realize that there's a room up and to the left. You got to think about, metaphorically, why would the game designer put that there? There's something in there.
Right.
There's something in there.
Curiosity.
And there's curiosity and there's layers, and I want to give people like the curiosity and ultimately kind of dangle the carrot in the distance of like there might be something here. So when people are hearing these records, they're hearing that 808 yeah, and it's just like I could talk about anything over these records. It's gonna sound like an IDK record.
Bro, I love that you said that.
Yeah, bro.
Because you have to give the kids the medicine for the candy.
Indeed.
You have to know how. Yeah, man.
I like those beats too. Like I like those beats too, and in a way, I want to give them that. But I'm like, there's things that are being said that could like help people, So they might be third listen in, but like I want. And what's funny is, personally for me, like I haven't used any profanity in any record yet.
Wow, really?
Correct. Yeah.
Damn.
Because I wanna, and it's like a social experiment thing I'm doing right now, where it's like I want to make it feel like you're at a Schoolboy Q show, but you feel like you feel just as powerful when you realize, because I think it's a facade that you think you have to like talk about wigging motherfuckers to like to really be hard. Like there's other ways to do it, and if the person's pen is strong enough, they can make it feel like anything and do whatever they want. And so basically, to revert back to my first point, it's just like my only focus is just to be ready, because that opportunity will come. But the moment the window's open, I need to be perceptive enough. I need to be ready on an artistic level, and then on the management level, it's like I'm trying to just be the most plug and play artist for managers. To like, I don't have to do anything except put you in front of 1,000 people. Done. And I'm like, let's go make some bread.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You ready?
That's it.
Yeah, man.
That's it.
Artists, rappers, locals, pay attention.
Man, listen, I ain't nobody, man. I'm just.
No, you're not. I mean,
just trying, man.
Yeah, but you have it kind of, I want to say figured out, but you already have the right head on your shoulders. Yeah. You have the right idea coming into it.
I'm trying, man.
I feel like you're not sensitive. Like, you know how the shit goes, and you know your time will come when it comes.
Discipline.
But you gotta be, discipline, and you're consistent.
Bro, I'm definitely like, what's funny is that it's so interesting you mentioned that, because basically what I've been doing for the last like week, I'm very much on my like snowed in shit with like a lot of socials and things like that. And him and I have had a lot of discussions about this. And in fact, I have a couple links I need to send you for some shit that I've seen that's outside of the Rogan thing. But there's a lot that I know social media wise. Like when I'm working my 9 to 5, I listen to like, podcasts about like AI and technical implications and things like that. Cause like basically growing up, my dad worked at he was basically a VP for like a software backup company, and he's always been like in kind of like the white collar corporate tech space, and that's where they were like kind of grooming me for. So when he would get emails from his like business like coworkers and stuff, I'd be like maybe like 7, 8 years old. He's like, hey, proofread this for me, and I was like, he's like, I'll send it. I was like, I'm sure it's good. He's like, no, proofread it. And so I'd go through and I would actually just like pick it apart and say, no, this doesn't make sense. This doesn't make sense. And so I was doing that.
At 7 years old?
Correct. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So I've been doing that for a while, and then.
But hold on, what prepped you to even do that prior to proofreading?
Well, I would just read like it's because my parents.
To trust a 7-year-old to proofread.
Correct.
You
yeah,
must.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. So in a way, it was interesting because like my parents like would always myself. I'm the oldest of 3. I have 2 younger sisters, and I'm the only boy. But in a way, like my parents were definitely the ones who were like, Greg, read that newspaper, and all your aunties are in the room or something like that. And it's like all your family members are there, and they're like, he's like, oh, look at him, he can, and so in a way, they always champion that, and in a way, and it just made me. Very much not black to other black people, you feel me? Which was great. But in a way, I think it just put me in a position where like they kind of groomed me for that. Because then around like 16 during the summer, there was no summer where I wasn't in like some Kumon or like Montessori school or like the Indian neighbor down the way was teaching me how like to do math on an abacus. Like there was something going on every summer where it was like, I never really had a full summer to myself. And I was just always doing something academic in a way, or I was like tutoring another kid down the street. Like there was something that was always going on. So in a way, it was like I kind of was being built for a certain situation. So 16 during the summer, I ended up doing an internship at the quality assurance lab that the company that my dad worked. And so I was running software, these phones, like against like black box and white box testing and doing scripts and stuff like that, and like kind of getting a feel for it. And then the next summer, I went back and I went to the dev department. And I was learning like C# and C++ and stuff like that, like kind of some of the coding and stuff. And basically with the intention of like going into computer science and just like setting myself up for like, okay, bet I'm just gonna code. Like this is what I'm gonna do. And then I was like 17, 16. And what's funny is like during this time, like I was like, putting poems on Tumblr and stuff like that. I was doing certain things for myself because I'd be going through I'd be programming heavy, and then I'm driving home to like PMW by Wayne.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like people didn't know. Like I was playing ComSense and
Wayne go.
You know what I mean? I'm telling you, bro. Like I'd be driving home because it was like I grew up off of like reggae and calypso and like very traditional. Like my parents are Jamaican. So like I grew up off of like festival music. I grew up off of Luther Vandross, Mary J. Blige.
Super Cat.
You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, bro. Like my mom was just like,
it's you.
Like,
that's my shit.
Bro, I'm telling you right now, like my mom, like, Alicia Keys, my mom.
Are they
just,
strict?
Of course, man. Come on, man.
I think that's where the 7-year-old proofreading shit comes in play. They were testing you.
First generation American, man. Like, and it feels like, I'm sure a lot of people have like immigrant parents who have like different pressures that they put on their kids to do X, Y, and Z. But in a way, it was like, it was something that I had such high respect for my parents and I never wanted to make them mad ever, so I was like trying to be like the perfect child for them. And in a way, it kind of put me in this mind state where I was like, okay, now fast forward, I'm 16, 17 doing these things. And I turn to my left in the cubicle and I turn to my right, and then like the guy right next to me who's like as far away from me as maybe from here to like that wall, like he's faced towards his computer, and he like my MSN messenger pops up, like he's like, hey, what are you getting for lunch? And I'm as opposed to like turning around and talking to me, you know what I mean? So in a way, I realized, okay, I'm definitely more sociable than this field kind of calls for. And as I started to peep that, and every time during my lunch breaks, I would be typing verses over beats in Microsoft Word, like Alt Tab, like silently doing my thing. And it's funny because like there was small things that were building to these moments, but in a way now I'm like heavy on the right brain, like development of like, now it's just like, okay, self-mastery, and how do I put myself in a position where I am like what does the next level of artist look like? Like what does not, and it's very trite. I'm already rolling my eyes for the innumerable amount of 2020 vision metaphors we're about to fucking get in the next 6 months. I can't stand it, bro. It's already started, and I'm like, it's just so low hanging fruit to me,
right?
And so I'm just like, okay, here we go. But in a way, it's like, what does the artist of
low hanging fruit?
You love words, huh?
Hell yeah.
I just used to read a lot, man.
But yeah, I mean, if you're proofreading at 7, it makes sense why you
Harry Potter, bro.
trying to write something.
Like series of unfortunate events. Like just I love storm. Like
nerd.
Yeah, bro. Facts, bro. I'm talking like girls wouldn't like no, I'm not gonna go to the dance with you because you're at the table with all your homies playing. Like your homies are playing Yu-Gi-Oh. You're not.
Or
I was at
Beyblades.
that table. Like the dudes who were playing. Like, cause the funny thing is like I was cool enough to like talk to everybody because I was the unbiased male opinion to all the cheerleaders, but they're like, oh, but you also parlay with the dudes who are playing Magic and Yu-Gi-Oh. So like we can't rock with you all the way. Like we can't give you all that. And so it's like
You just floated.
Yeah, I was just very, very. And that's why I was like, okay, I'm in this tech space, and I realized that all these guys aren't really that sociable. And I'm like, okay, I'm a little bit more sociable than this computer science thing. And I realized this guy's 40, this guy's 55, this guy's a mullet. They all hate their life, you know? And so in a way, I was like, I don't want to hate my life, you know? And I don't want to be upset. And they would just tell me like, yeah, development, like, you know, project managers never know how much work goes into this and that. You're constantly, I mean, the pay's good, but you're constantly going to be sad. And so I was like, okay, I don't want to be sad. I want to enjoy my life, you know?
Right.
And, then it kind of like started steadily like bleeding into music. I ended up moving to Riverside. This is all back in India, California, so Coachella. That's
So you're from Coachella, or where you from initially?
when I was born in Long Island, New York.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I was born in Long Island, New York. That's where all my family's at. That's where all the Jamaicans are at. They're in like Toronto and shit, but Florida maybe. But in a way, it's like I was born there. I moved at 7 to Austin, Texas. 7 to 14, I was in Austin, Texas, and then I lived like 5.5 years in Coachella Valley, India, and then and being there as a local with the festival there was like a very interesting dynamic of just like, oh man, that would be really cool. Like that would be a very dope thing to like be on that like one day and just be like, I went to the high school 3 streets away.
Right.
That would be super cool.
Right.
So it was like something. And what's funny is I like, as a side job, like one of my homies, like his dad was like a manager of the polo grounds during actual polo season. So I would actually like work on the polo fields like as like a scorekeeper during polo season where the horses were out. And then it's just like there's a lot of just interesting parallels that I'm seeing through like synchronicity that are like building up, you know. So to answer your question, it's like, yeah, I mean, I think the words thing just came with like. At first I would hide it because I thought being articulate was very whack because I was getting a lot of heat for it.
You fucking nerd.
Yeah, bro. It's like that, you know what I mean? And it's that sentence hit different when you like.
They ever throw a book at you?
You know, no, bro, no. So I would have caught that shit and be like, ready, you feel me? You feel me?
Reddit.
You know what I mean? Law, damn, that's a bar too. Damn, bro. Reddit, fucking, you know.
Catch that shit.
You feel me? Do you rap? You feel me? Do you rap, dog? You know what I mean? This dude rap, bro. You don't even know it yet. He just dropped the double entendre.
Oh, man. I want a ghostwriter, bro.
Man, listen, man. Hit me, dog.
I was just about to ask you. I know you said you write earlier.
Listen, yeah, bro.
I'm trying to do an album, you know? Because honestly, I feel like I can find the flows myself. Like, I can do, if I have the words, I can figure it out.
Yeah.
But I can't sit there and write, bro.
It's all patterns, man. It's all really patterns. And the thing, there's something that, like, I really appreciate, and it's something that really stood out to me the first time that Manny. Can I call you that? Okay, cool. I don't know what the context of what we're talking about. So basically, like, the first time Manny and myself linked up, I was like, cool, you know, another visual homie. Like, I love his, like, hues and stuff like that. And he mentioned something that was very interesting to me that let me know that his mind kind of operated like mine in a way. And he respected the craft more so than anything else. And more so, as an artist, a lot of people don't know, when you mention tonality, there's something that I'm working to develop, which is a sonic fingerprint. So no matter whether or not I'm on any record, before you look at the title, you know I'm on there. That's why having my voice sound a certain way is important, to relate that back to my situation with Manny
like
when
Cypress
I first met him.
Hill and all that shit.
That's correct.
Yeah.
So if we're going back to like Wayne or something like that, you just knew. There was that one summer he was going crazy on every fucking remix, and you just knew immediately.
Yeah.
And the sonic fingerprint is again, that goes into the branding section that like I'm also like, you know.
There's so many.
So yeah.
You can tell when artists study shit.
Yeah.
You could tell. And based off how you're speaking. You study, bro.
And to go back to like, Manny's situation was like, he mentioned there's something. He told me, he's like, I don't want you to stand in front of that because the way that I'm going to edit it, your skin tone blends into this kind of green, and ultimately you're going to get lost in this field and this scope. And that really resonated with me because I was like, okay, any other person that could say they rock with me and say this guy's paying me, so I'm rocking with him for an hour and a half, and then I'll send him the stuff and I'll never talk to him again or try to duck him. In a way, I realized, I was like, okay, he's about the details, and this is something that I realize is very, like, especially in the internet era. There's a lot of artists that are doing this, but they're kind of taking a battering ram approach to something that really takes a scalpel. And this is rap, this is cinematography, this is photography, this is podcasting, this is all. A lot of people are thinking there's like everything's a pyramid scheme, and we're in a renaissance era, but everyone's approaching this from a very blunt action. And I think the people, I say this to like a couple other people in conversations in the past. I've said this in the past, but I think there was like a physical Darwinism that took place, and that's why we look and we are the way we are now, as people who evolved from whatever. But I think now we're in a very special time because we're in like a social Darwinism era right now, where the people whom are able to actively navigate social media, regardless of whatever medium it is. It doesn't matter if it's MySpace, Facebook, and then now it's in IG, and then it's going to be TikTok, and then it's going to be whatever comes after TikTok, and whatever soaks up the next thing. 'Cause 10 years, IG followers might not mean anything, and people are depressed and crying right now because they got whatever on X posts. So in a way, I think the people whom can see Twitter and all these other things as like extensions of themselves and really just not tied to their self-worth, those are the people who you're going to see break through this threshold. And it's going to be because there's so many components to a person's career. I don't think people realize that it might be masked in certain things. Like, oh yeah, of course this guy's dope. Like his beats, or yeah, of course this guy's dope. Look at the people he knows, or of course this. But people aren't going to see, like, it takes more than that. You have to know the right people. Your marketing's got to be on 10. You have to be ready. And there's a component of it that you really can't control, which is
think about all the driving.
It's, bro, the driving alone, bro. The element of luck.
Think about the driving.
The driving, bro. Think about the
Think
mileage.
about the parking,
bro. Listen, bro.
With the equipment walking like 4 blocks down.
Listen, man. Tell him, bro. Tell him, because there's only everything. Basically, like everything has to hit on 10 at the same time. That's how impossible it's become. Not impossible, but that's how hairline detailed that finesse has become. People have like this crazy misconception that I can do anything and get the X threshold. And the thing is, this is the reason why I feel like it's a very important time for artists to be more detail oriented, is because Ski and Lil Pump and everybody burn these motherfuckers out in terms of Minecraft. So now that's why Bandana sounds the way it does. That's why Kendrick sounds the way he does. That's why Cole sounds the way he does. Because if Cole came out in 93, 95, whatever, when everyone was snapping, you got Black Star, you got The Roots, you got everybody going hard, Digital Planets, you got, you got all these, like KRS, you got everyone coming out at that time. Kendrick, I'm not sure, and this is, like, I love his work. Like, there's no question about, like, I studied, like, that's, like, mentor level shit. In a way, you wonder, with Kendrick, Cole,
it's almost like when Drake, they say, like, the one argument is like with Larry Bird or with like Michael Jordan be good in today's NBA.
You see what I'm saying? So in a way, I look at it like that because I do depict what I do personally as like a sport. I do want to make sure like every morning I wake up and it's like I either do like an hour at the gym or I'm running like 4 to 5 miles like every day. And this is like a self-discipline thing for me. This is not like a flex thing. It's more of like, I want to see how disciplined I can be, just because when it comes time to, like, when I have the resources to build the team that I know is going to, like, take it to the next level, and I can turn in my phone and I can turn in my laptop back to my job and say, no, it's good because I'm making X amount that you're paying me per year. I'm about to go run that up in 30 days, and I know I'll be fine, and I'll know I'll take care of what I need to take care of. I'm not trying to come back off tour for, like, a year and a half.
Yep.
I want to be physically fit to the point where I can take my running shoes with me on tour, and
You treating it like the military.
I'm going, bro.
No, he's like you said, you stay ready, bro.
Yeah.
You gotta stay
bro.
ready.
That's it, bro. Stay ready, bro.
You gotta stay ready.
That
Cause
shit-
imagine you
that's
do get your
rare.
look and it's like, we on tour, bro. I bet my stamina up, my endurance is up. I can do a whole show plus another one.
I'm telling you right now, and
That should get heavy.
bro, it's a lot, and those level in terms of the energy and those artists I mentioned, like those aren't like standing there giving you rap, just like I'm standing there talking to you, like I'm rather animated. So in a way, it's like,
So you're very all over the stage.
yeah,
And,
you know, that's as much as possible. It just depends. I mean, you have to like ration it as the sets get
Right.
longer. As the sets get longer, you see the size of the stages. Like you have to ration it. You can't just. I'm not gonna run overtly, but in a way, it's kind of like. No, what's funny is that no one has let me explain myself for me to even get to that level of what I just told y'all. In terms of people who could potentially change my life, they usually cut me off before now. So no one would ever know that I really have like those ideas or those ambitions or those like focuses or anything like that. And they'll just be like, yeah, you're cool, but I met 1 billion rappers in the last week and you're just one of them. And in a way,
It is oversaturated.
how does that make you feel?
I would agree, you know, but I think I think the reason.
What did you say?
It's oversaturated.
Man, I hate that word because I feel like life oversaturated anyways. I just feel like you just gotta be the best at whatever you do and
Sure.
stand out.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I definitely think the saturation of things has made it easier, or I want to say it makes it more difficult, and I definitely feel for all the back of house music industry people whom have to pick and choose whom is good and who is not. I think because it makes it a lot harder because there's a much larger sample volumetrically. It's like, who do I rock with? These 10 people are cool, but this guy might get laced out on X substance. This person has relationship problems. This person has anxiety. This person's gonna clam up and say the wrong thing during an interview and blackball his career. And so in a way, you just like, it's like whack-a-mole. Like you just don't know what to choose, and it's kind of like, okay, you know, how do I invest? And so a lot of times I think a lot of artists who potentially could be the next whatever, or pick up the torch from where the people whom we know and we love and we respect left off. A lot of times, like a lot of artists get overlooked. And so in a way, do I look at myself and say, oh, poor me, I'm overlooked? I could. And I've definitely had times where I felt that way. But I mean, I've come to a conclusion that, you know, if it's either gonna happen, or it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
I just know.
You know it's gonna happen.
I just surround myself around people that are great at what they do, and eventually something's going to happen. Because when people realize you have the quality control of someone with a team, how? And I was just like, I don't even have a team. No one's committed to Greg Newman only anything. Everyone's very dynamic. And in a way, is that the most efficient thing? Definitely not. Am I in a position where I can put people on a payroll? Definitely not. Would I love to be? Definitely. But the thing about it is that I have to work with the time I have, and I have to just respect the people around me. So I just want to work with the best. So if it's the best engineer who's way over there on that island, and the best photographer on this island, and then the best, you know, recording engineer on this island, and the best producer from this island, and I'm opening up for the best artist over here on this cardinal direction, like I'll have to stretch myself as far as I possibly can until it happens. So that's it, man. I don't want to talk the whole podcast, bro. I'm sorry.
How did you come across Manny's work?
I'm long-winded.
I think you were with Nate Day and a chick at the.
Goodness, yeah. I don't.
I don't know if it was the Eco. No, it wasn't the Ecoplex.
No.
But Mulherron was there.
Oh, okay. I know exactly what it was. Okay, that's funny. So basically, it was at this venue. It was called Catch One. It's called Catch One now. Mm-hmm. So there was I had just worked on a record with an artist, and this is actually in the beginning of like the Greg Newman solo stuff. So basically, I was in a duo before. I hadn't recorded one record until I was 22. Basically, I just had been writing and rapping to myself and Coors Light in the garage with the homies.
Right.
You know what I mean? So First record.
Coors Light.
Listen, man, you already know, bro.
You definitely a nerd.
You know what I'm saying? No, I'm just saying that was available. You know what I mean? I wasn't the plug. I just be pulling up. I was the token dude who be pulling up to the party.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That was my job. You feel me? That's what I signed up for. Peep the resume. You feel me? So like,
Token guy.
you know what I mean? So I was just pulling up. People like, I'm Greg. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? I was like, what's up, Chad? You feel me? What's up, Tom?
I'm not racist. My coworker black.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? What's up, Stacy? You feel me? Like, what's good? Lock it in, bro. Lock it in. You feel me? So in a way, like, you know, I brought that flavor to the party, and you know, people were shotgun and shit. So either way, yeah. So like, I only kept it to myself. I recorded my first record at 22, in this duo, and then after I was done with that, basically, I had decided I wanted to go solo for sure. And 2016 September is when I did that. And since then, I mean, and I realized, because I beat myself up a lot over like things that could have happened or rate, because I'm like, okay, like I definitely know enough to be in a certain position. I feel like I know a lot more than even artists who are in a better position. But in a way, it's like, okay,
It's not what you know, it's who you know.
Indeed. And that's what I come to the conclusion of. It's like, okay, bro, it's been 3 years. You've been hammering away at this. You've lived in Riverside this whole time. You've been doing these hour-and-a-half commutes, which you're doing a great job. But I just moved to LA County. I lived there for a year. I've met some awesome people through it. No one has bit the lure yet, but it's gonna be inevitable because I'm one of those people who like I know.
It's destined. It's predetermined.
It's predetermined.
Yeah, bro. Yeah,
and if you're consistent, bro,
yeah,
and you're patient and consistent, it's gonna happen. If that's meant to happen, it's gonna happen.
Yeah, bro. So basically, like, right around like 2017, I think it was actually the top of 2017. I had done this record with this artist, and she was really dope. And so I featured on one of her records, and then she had a show at Catch One, and she was like, "Yo, like, you want to come out and perform this verse or whatever?" And I was just like, "Oh yeah, sure." You know, so I went out and and we performed it. And at the time, and now seeing like the energy of like her music and what we did, and like Malaren, and I was just like, who was the event programmer for this? Like, who did this? And so it was like a medley of people he just knew or something like that, or she just knew. But either way, Malaren went up and they performed, and then we rolled up early, and that's where we touched base. It was all three of us, and we were just talking, and that's where it started. And then, I just saw his work.
Was Manny like, hey, I do pics, or not?
Nah, definitely.
He's in the middle of a combo.
No, this man is he's very, I realize he's just very about what he's there for.
He is.
He's like, I'm outside the house. He's like, I'm not, and I love it because I'm the same way. I'm like, if I go outside of my door, like, it's for something specific, and I'm trying to get that done so I can go back home. Like, it's like I'm trying to do the best job I possibly can, but I'm not trying to be outside.
Right.
Like, and so in a way, I felt that off of him, and he was just there for the job. He was like, yeah, I'm there to shoot for the homies. And I was just like, cool, that's all I need to know. Let me just see what you're about. And then as time had gone on, I was just like, yo, let's get it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it was dope. It was really dope. Respect him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So keep pulling up.
Thank you.
It's good photos to have in your portfolio.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah. It's fantastic because he makes a lot of people look extremely bad. So I love that shit. I love that shit. I love it. And not to say I want to make people feel bad, because I don't, but it's not until people realize that we're going to route that back to that professionalism conversation. When we were coming up, there were certain people who you saw it and you were like, whoa, I want to start photography because I'm inspired to do it, but I can't do what they do.
Right.
When you hear Eminem, you're like, whoa, okay, this is like crazy, and maybe I want to rap after this, but in a way, it's like, I can't do what he does, and I want people to feel like, dude, like, Greg is doing X, Y, and Z, and it sounds this way, but when they hear it, they're like, oh yeah, I can rap too. I have aunties, cousin, sisters, like stepbrother that also raps. So fuck you.
Yeah.
In a way, I do want to inspire them, but I also want to create a level of separation and say, no, there's layers to this. And in a way, when people have photography, everyone does photography. I'm picking my phone and people like in the bio, photographer. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm,
So
yeah.
in a way, I think there's a difference between that, and there's a difference between having 3 or 4 layers of equipment, developing your film. upgrading your stuff.
No, he loves it. You could tell he's passionate about it. You could tell.
And
Because you know how I know, bro? Because sometimes he be talking to me about cameras and like I don't know what you're talking about, so I'm just there listening and I'm like, that's dope.
And sometimes
I try to engage as much as possible.
Crazy.
I try to engage as much as possible, but I'm like, bro, you lost me after you said some term that I do not know.
Those are the friends you need to keep around. Those who thug it out when you're doing all the technical shit. Like that's what I'm saying. Like the thing is like that technicality is dope. Like for me, I don't want to work with a billion other people. I want to be like a returning. The reason I come back and I continuously bug Manny when he's extremely busy, and I know he's busy. I know he's like, God damn it, Greg, what the fuck do you want now, bro? Oh my God, this guy's not gonna leave me alone. And so in a way, I'm a returning customer. Yeah. When I like what I like, and I have a feeling that you're gonna respect what I bring to the table, and it's gonna be something we can augment throughout time. Like I don't feel the need to just be like, okay, cool. Now I need to work with the dude who shot Bieber stuff or Sway just because I have the bread. Like that's not important to me. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean, right? But
your guys' relationship became more of a friendship too, more after than just want some work shit, huh?
Yeah, it was organic. Like it was organic. Like we would link up over like pizza and shit, just multiple different locations. Like he came out to my spot. Like people don't pull up to my house, you know what I mean, or like my place, like. And just like come inside, like, you know, and I'll meet them somewhere. I'll meet him at the curb and we'll hop in my whip and we'll go. But like, no, he's in, you know what I mean, in my house. You know what I'm saying? Like my cat likes him. You feel me? Like
my dogs like him, bro.
Yeah. This motherfucker's Eliza Thornberry. You feel me? Like, you feel me? You know what I mean?
Thornberry.
Yeah, he's Eliza Thornberry. You know what I mean? So in a way, like. That's the reason is just like, you know, it's quality control. And the thing is just like, you can tell when he told me, dude, hey, check out this edit real quick. I took a piece of this word and I sliced it and then I put it in the upper left-hand corner, but I inverted the color. So it's low key. Like, I was like, okay, you're doing the same things. And this is what I love about it. You're doing the same things I'm doing with music and lyrics, but you're doing it visually. And you're implementing layers of visual metaphor. And metaphors exist in everything. And in a way, those subtleties are what create the same things that I'm trying to create in the lyrics when it comes to that secret room that has the achievement. It's that caveat. That's what creates the cult fan base. That's
your style.
That's it.
Yeah, he has a style for sure.
You got to make people feel like they're getting a lot. But when they open the box, they realize, damn, this had crazy packaging, and I expected the gift to be nothing because usually everyone's capping. But then you open the box, and then you're like, whoa.
Yeah, because I don't really sound. I'm not the type of photographer to sound like 8 selects. Nah, you're getting back every good photo I took. It's like 70, 80. Like
that was insane, bro.
Bro, I be sending back like the most I've sent back was like $3.99.
Yeah,
$4.50.
Yeah, bro. And the way he knows how to move. That's different. That's another thing too. It's just like a lot of people do amazing things as well, but like it takes a certain mind to be able to know the people you know. And I mean, I think I've been in definite spaces of like knowing and meeting and dapping up a lot of certain. I mean, it was another show I was supposed to open up for was IDK that didn't pan out. Like there's a lot of things that like people I've met that are like, you have to have a certain level of finesse. And in a way, the fact that he keeps on elevating and puts himself in situations where he's meeting the right people, I mean, that's a good sign that, you know, A, I can learn from this person, but B, when it comes time to move strategically and things are very much kinetic and I can say like, bro, what you got going on for the next 6 months? We're going to go to Europe and fuck it up. Let's do it. You know, and us being able to lay low and move the way we're supposed to move. You don't have someone who's going to freak out when they're in that space. When they're in the green room and they're going to fan out and burn the plug. You know what I mean? There's certain people who aren't used to that space. You know what I mean? You can't bring everybody around.
Right.
And so that's another reason. You know what I mean? So I knew he wouldn't say this about himself, so I'm bigging him up. You know what I mean? I'm done talking, man. I'm gonna drink some water, man.
Swig your water, bro.
Yeah,
Swig your water.
I'm done, man.
First of all, I want to say shout out to everybody that tapped in, that's listening. The podcast officially on Spotify, so y'all can go peep that for if you're a Spotify user. Apple Podcasts been on there. SoundCloud is still you can rock with it on there. And YouTube, you can rock with it on there. Just type in Overly Blunt Overly Blunt podcast, and you'll see everywhere. So I wanted to plug that in real quick. Cause Spotify, like, I was kind of hard to get onto that shit. Now I finally got on it, so I'm like, cool, bet.
Yeah.
That's hard.
Yeah.
That's dope. I don't have Spotify, so can't
Me
relate.
either. I don't even know what it is.
Yeah, I definitely feel
Trying to get on Tidal now.
Yeah, I feel. But you was mentioning Tidal had a lot of excuse me. He was mentioning Tidal had a lot of like bugs and stuff.
For me, it did. Woo!
Yeah.
I was out that hole.
Really?
I lasted 2 months.
It's the sad developers, bro. You feel me? Like
Bro, I cussed them out.
no way.
I have a little nasty email thread with them.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I kind of cussed them out.
So you had words.
Yeah, because I was paying for the fucking premium.
Whoa.
I was paying for the like
Hold
top
on.
notch shit.
You paying for the
high five.
You're paying for the high fidelity
The
content.
master.
That you getting exclusive
And look,
tickets
the
to
fucked up part, like 3 days after the fucking the Reasonable Doubt master dropped.
I bet you were sad.
Like,
I'd have been kind of sad. Goodness.
I was just upset, like, oh.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a nasty email.
Yeah, that's wild, bro. I have.
Because it just kept crashing the way I was like Apple. I feel like Apple CarPlay kind of is biased on what it wants to work with.
Right. Right.
So you guys probably hear pebble in the bag, but it's okay.
The cons of recording at home still.
You know what
But
I mean?
we got pushed through it.
Yeah, 100%, man. What y'all don't know is this is BTS for Zaboomafoo, you feel me? This is where we score all the shit, you know what I mean? Basically, it's like, what is it? It's like it's like animal sounds and shit in the back, you know what I mean? When it's like, what other shows had like zoo shit in the back? There was like a lot of kids shows, I realized.
Zaboomafoo?
Zaboomafoo, remember that show?
Mm-hmm,
You know me with the lemur?
Yeah.
A monkey, bro?
That wasn't a monkey?
It was a lemur, bro. It was a...
Fuck's a lemur.
Isn't that lemur a monkey?
You don't know what a lemur is, bro?
I don't watch no I'm not.
We don't watch Madagascar.
Oh, man, I got...
I don't know what the fuck a lemur is. I have an
know,
idea.
So you know what a lemur is. You just
So
lied.
that's
You know what I'm saying?
different,
You know what it is.
Okay.
As a lemur. Oh, so y'all watch... I got two little sisters, man. I relived every kid's show twice. You feel me? Like, you know what I mean? So, yeah. But yeah, basically...
Hey, you talked about Eminem earlier. You brought Eminem up a couple times. Is that one of your favorite rappers?
I wouldn't even say... I would say I appreciate his technicality in his old music.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah. What are you expecting me to say right now?
I'm not afraid.
Yeah, what are you expecting me to say right
You
now?
know, some wild shit happened when I pulled up. You know
Yeah.
what was playing? Like, no lie. I was like, all right, I'm going to count to 3. Or I'm going to skip 3 songs. Whatever plays, I'm going to let it play. Guess what it landed on? Stan.
Stands fire though.
But I'm bumping that in the car, dog. No one be bumping that in the car like that.
I've never rolled by and this is shout out to Marshall because you know what I mean, because you might know. But ultimately, like, I've never rolled by and someone's like slapping Eminem, maybe in Glamis or like places where people like.
I love him on features.
Damn, you never drove by and heard someone slapping Eminem.
I mean,
That's a fact.
I mean,
That's a fact.
am I being like aggressive about that?
No.
Like, you know what I mean? I just. And it'll
No
work.
shade
And
to
if
him.
it is, and if they are
No.
bumping, it's probably like DRE, still DRE
Oh, of course,
or whatever.
yeah.
That's
You're
why I
talking
said.
Nowadays, I forgot about Dre.
That's
Forgot
what I
about Dre,
said.
yeah.
Like, I love him on features. I love the Slim Shady era, and I feel like you can possibly bump the Slim Shady era, but
Right.
for me, I just feel like that music doesn't truly pass the car test like that.
I feel like if
Unless
Eminem,
it's features.
I feel like if
Right.
Eminem was black, he wouldn't be. I mean, he'd be considered a dope lyricist, but he wouldn't be praised as much.
Yeah, I don't think once hip hop became something that was like alluring, because the only thing is that like you don't have kids, you know, who are dressing like they, you know, go to Pepperdine University, like they're not cutting crack and wigging people in Compton. You know what I mean? So in a way, it's like the gang kind of culture or the talk about like the stick talk and all that other shit. Like for the most part, like it was just very alluring as like, whoa, I live in the suburbs and I've never seen this before. And so in a way, it's just like, oh, I want to hear about the other side. I want to feel dangerous. I'm rolling through with all my other white homies and I feel like a hard ass. Like, and so in a way, it's like,
You know who did that for me, low key though? Chief Keef.
oh yeah.
When I saw I Don't Like, I was like, what the
Come on,
fuck?
man. Come on, man. Come on, of course.
I was like, who the hell? 16 there with all these guns. I was intrigued. I'm not gonna lie, I was intrigued. I was like, oh shit, let me go look up other shit.
It's a market. It's a whole market. And so in a way, the only reason I mentioned Eminem before was because
the wordplay.
Well, it was the wordplay, but more so it was just like the energy of him saying, "I'm gonna stay ready." It's more so the way he approached things, more so than even his content.
Back to the 9 to 5 thing.
You see what I'm saying? Like,
okay, yeah, you're right. Yeah, you know what I mean? You brought him up like that. Yeah, I forgot.
You know what I mean? So that's the first time I kind of mentioned him, and it was like, yeah, it's just because you watch the 8 Mile shit, and he's like, okay, I'm ready to torch anybody at any moment. Like it's more so that energy, more so than like him saying whatever he was saying, and and then I think having certain people and certain mentors for certain pockets of your craft, like you could be like, I like this, I like artist X, Y, and Z because the way that they color, I feel. But then those aren't the same people that I go to when it comes to framing and scope. Like, so I have I have A, B, and C because these people scope and put things in a frame and know how to, like, they really are on their 4/3 in a certain way, or they're really on their law thirds in a certain way. And then it's like, okay, but I have different people when it comes to cinematography. That's that. So I have 3 people for this, 3 people for this, 3 people for the cinematography aspect and the whole myriad of things. So even though I might look at artists and say, whoa, work ethic, that's where you at. And then I could look at somebody like Lupe and I could say depth, whoa, and then learn from this person on a depth aspect and figuring out how to pocket the caveats and stuff like that. And then I could look at somebody and be like, whoa, Travis Scott, okay, performance energy, balance when it comes to crowd interaction. Oh, okay, wow, like this is what it looks like. And then I could look at somebody like Gibbs and be like, okay, like character, like embodying
breath control.
You see what I'm saying? So like there's certain things that like I think when people look at these artists,
he raps just like the album on Stay. He wanted the only artist to not change up the lyrics, change up his flow.
Wait, what do you mean birth control?
Breath.
Oh, breath control. I said birth control. I was like, birth control. You agreed. I was like, what the fuck?
Oh, no. I heard what he said. He said breath control.
Breath control. Like, he doesn't switch up the way.
I'm not going to lie.
He performs his album
just on beat.
Yeah, like on beat, everything.
Like, I'm not going to lie. So it's Travis and Freddie, bro.
Really?
This guy, I mean, I've taken a considerable amount of time, and I think I've watched maybe every live performance that's on YouTube of this person, just because like I'm studying. I'm seeing, okay, what is he doing? What is he not doing? Okay, he's kind of doing just the standing there, and I'm just gonna give it to you the bars. I'm not gonna do too much. So he's not doing the overt shit, but in a way, it's like, okay, how can I take that and then like blend it with some movement and kind of make it feel younger, more active, and more engaging, because he already has his fan base, so he can afford to be static. Like he can afford, like these artists don't have to do much because people already know their songs. I don't have to say my hook because you were gonna sing it back to me and you want to be that involved. But from my POV and for someone who has to earn the audience, I gotta kind of do the theatrics in a way. So that's why it's like going back to Freddie. It's like, yeah, I mean that's performance wise at him, Travis Scott. Other artists whom are doing really well. And once it's funny because like. There was some people who told me like, Greg, you're at the highest gradient of your career right now, where you have riveted down a lot of amazing back of house stuff, and once you get through this very steep component of as you continue doing what you're doing, you find the right people who do want to weigh in a little bit heavier, then things are going to be extremely downhill, and things are going to be very fast. Like it's just going to be okay. You're going to meet so-and-so, and it's just going to rock it from there because everything else back here has already been shored up. So
you mean downhill as in an easy climb or like an easy way down, not as in like downhill
as in negativity. Oh, yeah, that's what I mean. I mean like potential to kinetic energy.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I mean like you just
it's like a roller coaster.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
So like walking up a fucking hill and you want to walk. You'd rather walk down than walk up.
Yeah, and you're fatigued, and you're like, oh man, I could just run down now. I can get, and then
run down. What the fuck? I'm walking down.
Come on, man. So yeah, I mean,
when's the last time you walked up a hill?
Since I had a car. Shit.
That's a smart answer, man. That's a smart answer. That's that pro AI answer. He's like, sheesh, bro. Since I got chipped in the back of the ear, homie, shit, bro. I've been Googling since, dog.
I think last time I kind of hit was when I went with you to your the shoot with Malik at the beach.
But that was when, like,
That was July. Yeah. I'm so inactive.
bro, we gotta get it. We gotta get it. By the next video y'all see, I'm about to be buff. Watch.
Sheesh,
Watch.
bro. Get him juiced up. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? He's gonna hit his little creatine bag. You feel me?
I'm about to go see Dr. Miami.
Oh, man.
Yo, imagine getting some fake abs. That'd be fire. You can do that.
I'm all
Can you
for
do that?
Yeah, you can definitely get ab implants, which is actually probably way more efficient because who has time to do sit-ups? You feel me?
On God, bro.
This guy said on dating. You feel me? Like on God, bro. That's how this guy had to make it biblical. You feel me? You have to make the.
We were just
he-
talking
he-
I
about
was just talking about how like I shouldn't be using God's name in vain.
No, I mean context. You feel me? But it's just like
No,
the
but
fact
see,
that it went
that's my
biblical.
argument. But at the end of the day, we still like
I see
demeaning
what-
the name God.
I
You
see
feel
what
me?
you're
Because we're just
saying,
making making fun of it.
Okay.
I see what you said. It's funny though. It's hilarious. You just like fake implants biblical. You feel me? Like,
Oh God.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Sheesh.
Oh God,
You know
bro.
what I mean? Sheesh. I'm my auntie sister, bro. You feel me?
So you say you used to live in Riverside?
I used to live in Riverside, yeah.
Yo, I love Riverside, so that was dope.
Yeah.
I didn't know you had that. We have a connection, low key now.
Indeed, bro.
And
Indeed.
we have a connection.
Bro, I
I'm
was-
biased to Riverside folks.
Yeah, bro. I mean, I was in these streets, man. Like literally.
What part?
I used to. So I lived in like by UCR for like
Downtown,
a
huh?
minute. Yeah, well, UCR by a minute for a minute, like MLK over there.
Okay,
So I was like kind of across UCR for a while, and then I moved to Canyon Crest for a year.
Oh, you were in the nice part.
It was like the cheapest apartment ever. Someone got shot like the year I was there, and it was like, yeah, that was wild. And then like my roommate, like shriveled up, and it was like, nah, we gotta move. And I was like,
Sounds like me.
I was like, but the price though, you feel me? I was like,
With the
you know,
price,
I was like, bro, just keep the door closed.
Oh, so
feel
you
me?
were like more so like Moval, huh?
Yeah, and so funny enough, actually, you mentioned that because like after that, he ended up moving, which is totally cool, and then I ended up moving to Mobile for a while, and then after that, I had an apartment right off of it was like by Tyler. I had an apartment by Tyler. You know the string of apartments where it's like those those apartments off the freeway, and that's that sheet metal.
Yeah.
I was like over there. You know what I mean? I was
Okay.
over there by like the all that stuff.
That's our side basically. It's right here.
Yeah. So I was over there for a while, and then for the last like 2 years, I think that I was here. I moved to a place up in like Lake Matthews area. One of my coworkers. So it's funny story is like I actually was a supervisor for Starbucks, as I aforementioned, right, for 5 years at La Sierra in Indiana, right here by the Rouse.
Oh wow, yeah.
Yeah, I worked.
Damn.
Yeah, I worked here.
Wait,
there.
so that's how you're gonna get into Starbucks?
Yeah.
It all comes together now.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, so I used to work right there, and I was there for 5 years, and only black male holding it down. You feel me? On the planet. You feel
With
me?
all these Mexicans around you.
Yeah, bro. Listen, man. People like what's great, and then like not great about it is that you almost wonder like when people were like you're doing a crazy job, like you're like, oh, you're doing such a good job, and you wonder. It's the same thing as the Larry Bird thing. It's the same thing as the Kendrick thing. I'm just wondering myself like if I was like Stan or Chad or something like that, and I was good. I mean, I definitely put foot to ass. I was making it happen, but in a way, I was just like, if I didn't look the way I look, people would be like, "Yo," you know what I mean? Like, you're doing a crazy. I was like, I think you're saying I'm doing a crazy job for a black person.
Right, yeah.
I think that's what you're really.
Yeah.
I think you're saying like your level for the way you look is completely wild, and so I took it with a grain of salt. I was there for the bag.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was racking the tips up, showing a little leg. You feel me?
Now you stay out in LA?
Correct. Yeah, I moved to Norwalk.
So how's that transition? Going
Man.
from the not the Valley, well, the IE to
What's weird?
LA.
What's weird is that like I love specifically that I love each place that I've lived for different reasons. Like one thing being like a very nomadic kid and moving around a lot because my dad's job, and then being in a position where I was in Riverside and I moved like 4 times or 5 times in the IE within a span of like 6-7 years. Like I just learned how to move on very quickly, but I took small pieces. And what's funny is that Coachella, like a lot of that, I used to go with like my dad sometimes, and he used to like take pictures of sunsets, and he used to be like, oh, like, look at this photo. I'm like, oh my god, so annoying. Like they all look the same, and like I used to like brush it off, and then like I would find like there were certain places in Coachella like I would go to. Because I lived in Indio, and I would drive like 30 minutes up to like a mountain corner, like a little turnout, and you just see like the whole sky on fire. And like that was like kind of the first, and I would always go up there and like listen to music and go up there and write. Like if I was like getting a fight with somebody or like argue with somebody, I would always go up there and decompress. And so in a way, like I was just like, I want to make people feel as powerful as this looks right now. Like what would this sound like? And I would just tell myself that, not thinking anything, because I'm like, oh, you're trash. You feel me? So you can't, you know what I mean? Cool dream, bro. You know, but in a way, like though that's where the whole nature thing started. So to go back to Riverside, like I was in Lake Matthews, and like that's higher elevation. That's like all the way up La Sierra. You keep going all the way up to La Sierra, keep like to where the mountain road splits, and you can go down to Corona, like Dos Lagos area, and then you can go towards Paris. And I was like, you make a left and you go towards Paris, and I was like in between those mountains. And so I would like, you know, it's the first place it rains when it rains in the IE. It's the first place like you see like I'm in fog when I'm driving on the way home.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like when the fires were here in these mountains, like as I was driving to work on the mountain, you could see the flames like from the vantage point I was at, and like there was so many nature implications there. It just like bled into me. So I took those things. I was like, dude, IE is beautiful. I love it out here. Like I love it because it just like where I was at specifically, it was just far away enough from like sirens and helicopters and all that other wild stuff. I could find a sense of peace, you know. And in a way, so I always associated home with like the recharge station. And then when I step outside my door, it's like, all right, let's attack the world. I'm gonna attack the world. So you're kind of like leaning forward when you're outside of the house, and then when you come back, you like want to plug back in and recharge. And so like where I was at specifically in Lake Matthews, like it enabled me to get that level of like recharge. And so now that I'm out in LA County, my first thought was like, okay, you know what I mean? It's gonna be like, you know, it's gonna feel like IE. It's just gonna smell different. You feel me? Yeah. You know what I mean? It's gonna feel different. But thankfully, like where I'm at specifically, like is like 25 minutes away from like downtown, and it's far enough away to the point where it does not feel like LA, but it's close enough to the point where, because when you live in the IE for so long and you're used to driving out to LA, you're used to driving exorbitant distances to be able to go to where you need to go, you already know it's all time. You finesse the time. Okay, I'm gonna travel at 8 p.m. I'm gonna hit at 11:30. Yeah, and the traffic's gonna be. So in a way, I already had that mentality from living out here for so long. So in a way, I was like, okay, the show's at 9. I'm gonna leave at 8 because there's gonna be no traffic. And I look at the GPS and it says 17 minutes, and I'm like, whoa, like it's slow enough and it's far away enough from downtown where you don't get a lot of the LA stuff, but at the same time, it's close enough so I could at least like, you know, save fuel and like be there and not have to worry about like, okay, I drove from here to a certain area to go pick up the homie because he's shooting my show or like he's recording it or whatever, and then I'm driving out to the show. I burn out on this crazy hyper performance level thing, so I go on 10 physically. I'm burnt out, I'm sweating, and I'm tired, and I'm kind of want to take a nap. You feel me? Yeah. But then I don't drive directly home. The homie hops back in the car. I got to go drop him off. That takes X amount of time. And then I got to go drive myself back home. Wow. So now, I'm like, by the time I get home, I'm like face plant couch mode. You know what I mean? So in a way, like being 17 minutes and being like, okay, I can gas out and then I can just be home. Like that's an amazing convenience. You know what I mean? Right. So, I mean, but it's more expensive. You know what I mean? So there's definitely like, there's drawbacks and there's benefits. But honestly, I do enjoy it because I'm a very like show face kind of person, and I know that frequency means something, volume means something. The more I'm at mixers, the more I'm at shoots, the more I can pull up to shows and just see what people are about. The more I can see, people are like, why is this one guy showing up all the time? Like, who is this guy? He just looks familiar. And then that's where that bridge starts getting built. I'm like heavy on showing face. Like no real connection is made over the internet. I think all the real connections are made still in person. People are very disillusioned to that.
It's a bar. It's a bar, bro.
People are disillusioned by this internet shit. They're like, oh no, if I follow in the no. That may be a good like first. That's a toe dip.
That's a cover letter.
You bars.
Following somebody's a cover letter.
That's and no one reads that.
Yeah.
That's a
like they
bar.
give you the double tap. Pew. Then you meet in person. Oh, hey, nice to meet you. Or I had an instance where this girl wanted to shoot, and I saw she doesn't know what I look like. She just hit me up, said let's shoot, right? Of
course, yeah.
And I ended up seeing her at a festival. I just pulled her aside. I'm like, hey, can I grab some pictures of you? And she was like rolled her eyes and was like, fine. And I was like, oh shit, bitch. Like,
you reached out to me.
like, bitch, what?
Wow.
But I didn't introduce myself, none of that. I just asked if I could just take her pictures, right?
I love that, actually.
And she was like she rolled her eyes and shit. And I was like,
very
bro, I was like shook. I was like,
no, I mean, at that point, you're just like, bet. That's all I need to know.
I just said never. No, I didn't even take the photos. Like, I just walked away. I was just shook. Like, yo.
So she like tried to DM you after that. Like, where are you at? Like,
she didn't know who I was. But she
didn't DM your account. And was like, yo, where are you? Like, we gonna link up?
We didn't plan to shoot at the carnival. Like, we just planned to shoot. Like, aside from that, I just happened to see her at the carnival.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually wild.
So yeah.
So when she asked you to shoot again, you were like, nah, you curved me?
Nah, I just unfollowed her and
of course, yeah.
I didn't really get too deep into it, but it was just one of those moments where I was like, damn. But that's what I like.
Yeah,
I
of course.
like seeing shit like that because it's
course.
like when you look back at it, it's pause. You like. When you look back, you know.
The way his eyebrows adjusted, he's like, hey, bro, when you look back at it, hey, punctuation is everything. Why is the comma there? You feel me?
But you know, to me, it's just like cool. Like this internet shit works.
Right. Yeah.
It works any way you want it to work.
So you see what I'm saying?
You just gotta learn how to work the gears.
It's your invisibility cloak.
So yeah, for me, it's an invisibility cloak. Like,
yeah. And in a way, like I love it too because, like, at least the way I present myself, I probably present myself in this very like I'm trying to help people way in a way. Like I want people to like take away more than just the raps. But like, it's funny because then people meet me, and it's like they're like, oh, like I just expected you just to grunt and yell at me all day. Yeah. Because they're just like, you sound like you sound like a psychopath,
right?
and I'm like, oh, okay, for sure. Like it's the same thing. Like me, like I feel like a lot of people, especially, just don't know how to gauge. And what I love it, and when I say social Darwinism, people don't know how to communicate, and I love it because it just makes the process of filtration way faster.
Flirting's so easy with that, like. Bruh, nice. you just gotta be so.
It's so nice.
I break the ice quick and they get uncomfortable and it's like, why are you getting uncomfortable? It's like, this is what humans are supposed to do. We're supposed to interact.
No, 5 years ago, this is what we did.
Not 5 years ago.
Maybe
like,
not. Maybe
I'm
being like
20 years ago, maybe.
20?
Let's go 20.
Nah, bro.
20.
Let's go 20.
I'd say 2010 people were still interacting.
Not like that though.
Not like that, but it wasn't fully what it is now. A lot of shit changed in the last 3 years, 4 years, bro.
Since IG blew up.
But IG 2014 not the same as IG 2019 at all. I feel like that was IG Prime 2014. 2012, 2014, IG Prime.
So you think it was like more
filter?
No, felt like there's less filtration, less censorship.
Yeah, man.
I remember Wretch. You know who Wretch is?
Yeah.
I remember Wretch used to post his videos when he's eating his bitches out.
Damn.
And he hitting it from the back. Damn. Like, he wouldn't show the actual private parts, but he showed himself, like... Yeah. I'm like, yo, Wretch was walking in the store. Like, he did the loud challenge first.
I think I'm about to steal.
Yeah, shit. You remember that? Remember that video where he's smoking around the white people? Mad ethnic.
Oh,
he's like, with his mad ethnic, and he's blowing. He's like, this is what MLK died for. I do this for my... There's all these elderly senior citizen white people around him. He's just blowing dank.
Wow, I do remember that. That's actually wild.
That was a great era for IG.
Yeah, that's wild.
Like
ASAP Yams era.
Nowadays, like the way these filters and like IG is running it up is people are having this like fascination of looking like something, right?
Of course, yeah.
So in my head, because they taking this shit to like plastic surgeons, like Dr. Miami, make me look like this fucking Playboy filter. And the way I look at it is like,
when I saw females tattooing freckles, I was like, y'all are washed.
like
bro.
when I saw Dystopia, I think or not Dystopia,
Euphoria.
but like not even Euphoria. I never seen that shit. But I forgot what type of society it's called, like dystopian.
Yeah, it's
society,
dystopian. That's what it is, yeah.
where they're like all futuristic and everything's fluid and everything's gender neutral.
Orwellian. Yes.
And
yes.
that's what I feel like these filters are leading up to, because it's like 10 years from now, when this shit popping, when these girls got like money, it's gonna be more people looking like we barely seen the people that are getting these surgeries.
Bro, you didn't hear that? Then mom, sorry, cut you off with that story recently with the 7-year-old. The 7-year-old that the mom's forcing him to go through a transgender operation type thing, a surgery.
And the dad, they got a divorce over
Yeah,
it?
because the dad's like, bro, like we got.
Wait, so elaborate on that. What happened?
It was a 7-year-old that his mom, I guess today what came out, the information that came out today was that the kid did a confession that his mom has been abusing him and telling him that he's a girl, and she's been dressing him up, and she's been she's trying to instill in him that he's a girl, and she's trying to make him go through the surgery.
Wow.
At 7 years old.
She wants a girl.
At
She
7 years
pregnant
old
again.
Oh,
and
wow.
the dad, she got divorced with her husband because he's like, nah, what the fuck, like my kid, no, we're not doing that at 7 years old.
Yeah.
But that shit is just crazy, bro. Because people just trying to be filters, bro. But then you got crazy parents trying to make their kids. I don't know, bro.
And then with her, you don't know if she's just fat. She always wanted a girl. You don't know that. So she's like, oh, since I'm a justify it by this, because that's too young.
But all these laws that not come into play for the transgender, like shit getting, bro, it's not a coincidence. Like this is all part of the plan.
That's why I feel like all of it's going, and I'm not against it, because that's people's like free will. I'm not against it.
Right.
I don't indulge in it either. For me, I like options.
Of course,
like options for everybody. Like do what you choose. You have that free will. But the way I do look at it is we're going into that type of society where everything is fluid. And I feel like in 20 years, it's going to be like, I feel like even by the time the disclosure comes out, like there's all this technology happening, I feel like it's going to be fucking months when shit just starts coming out. China got these fucking solar panel buildings that are floating on mountains, and a month later, I feel like that shit's going to happen real fast.
Yes.
But by then, society is going to be so like, it's really going to be a classist society. You're not going to ask male or female no more. You're not gonna ask anything. You really
poor
or rich. That's it.
Yeah. Or like you either live down here or you live on that floating rock.
Exactly.
And you take a pod
like Elysium, bro.
Elysium.
When I saw the movie, I was like, this is that and WALL-E, the Disney one.
Wow.
Those two, I'm just like, this really was the shit gonna turn into.
Yeah, bro. That's interesting you say that, because last night I was watching a movie called Transcendence, and it was Johnny Depp. Like the actor who played Black Widow, she was like a main character.
Scarlett.
Scarlett. Yeah. So what? Yeah, Scarlett Johansson. Wow. Damn.
So you're not a nerd.
Yeah, but wow. Yeah,
no, he is a nerd.
Yeah,
he said Black Widow. He said Scarlett.
Wow. You imagine? Yeah, I don't know her name, but
her comic name.
Yeah, it's like I don't know her name, but issue 7, addendum C. I dropped the comic like issue, but like I feel like so Scarlett Johansson and Johnny Depp and Morgan Freeman was in this movie. There was a lot of heavy hitters in this movie, and it was about basically, I guess spoiler alert, but the idea was...
Before you get into it, I wonder why it's heavy hitters. Are they trying to promote something? Are they trying to show me something? Because what was the budget on the movie? Was it a big... Because I never heard of it.
Well, here's the thing. It seemed like an indie, but there were a lot of like B to A like tier actors.
That's what I mean. If it's
So
indie,
their budget was high. It was almost like one of the actors has a production company, and they could afford to pull X, Y, and Z because they've met them throughout the industry. And they're like, "Yo, I have this movie idea," and I'm talking like Elon cameoed in this movie.
What the hell?
I'm talking.
What movie is this?
It's
The
called Transcendence. It's
bro,
on.
we gotta watch it.
It's
Yeah,
new?
there has to be a message
Bro,
behind it.
So listen, man. Like you,
That's where it
both
starts.
The, yeah,
the
both.
actors, but it's an indie.
It seemed to me like an indie, or like one of these artists have a production.
The way I look at it is this: with these heavy hitters, as you say, B to A,
It's not marketed that big.
I never heard of it. I never saw a trailer for
It's a
it.
new movie.
I don't know when it came out.
Oh,
I have no idea when it came out, but basically, like,
You want to look it up?
yeah. So, like, a lot of the components of this movie, I'm telling you, I have some links to send you, bro. The things I've been on for the last like couple months have been interesting, and I've been sending it to a couple people, but I forgot you're one of those minds I can send it to. But basically, like, it's about a scientist and his wife, and the scene opens up, and they have kind of like a gazebo garden area. And you see him like staple gunning like copper netting on top, and she's like, yeah, this is what you want, and like you have your garden, and I can take care of like. And she's like, oh yeah, she's like, yeah, it's kind of like I wanted it. And he's like, yeah, it's like it's like, look, pulled out his phone. He's like, see, it's a dead zone. Signal can't get through. He's like, you wanted to disconnect, right? And so in a way, I was like, okay, that's interesting. And then you find out that basically the AI premise war is afoot, basically. And so there's people whom are rebelling against, who were previous interns of AI companies. Yeah, whom are
Hong Kong.
yes, who are rebelling against these AI companies. So they basically set up like different situations where they were like kind of like trying to stop the progress of these certain companies. So basically a bunch of these leading AI labs all got hit at the same time. It was like a coordinated thing. And the only lab that was still up that ironically had like the highest level of like quantum AI at the time was Johnny Depp character's his role. So the lab that he had was kind of the most advanced. So they were like, hey, and now the government was like, hey, we just want, we need a proxy on like how things are going. We used to check into this lab and now they're down. So do you mind if we check out your stuff? And he was like reluctant about it, but they went ahead and everyone took a look at it. And he definitely had the most advanced one. But it turns out that this attempt, one of these protesters came up and they tried to kill him.
Don't ruin it for me now.
Right, yeah, for real. So basically, yeah, I mean that's just that alone, and that's only the tip of the iceberg. That's like first 15 minutes.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like that's like you're barely grazing it.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So either way, where it goes is very practical, which is very interesting, and none of it felt like sci-fi stretch. Like whoa, you're reaching. You know what I mean? Like it was a good movie. I mean I had to work out like at 6 a.m., but in a way, I was up to like 1 a.m. watching this movie, and I was like, wow, this is like not
What you watching on?
Netflix.
Oh,
Netflix.
Is it Call of Duty night?
have you seen that movie, Scanner Darkly?
No.
No, that was interesting. Someone recommended me that. Who was it? It was a homie. What's his name? Remy Vega. What's that name?
Smirk.
It's Smirk, yeah, and
Jeremy.
That one is with the Robert Downey Jr., Keanu Reeves,
Remy.
the one of the Olsen ones. I mean, Gary Olsen was it the one that has that dude that has the messed up nose?
Yes.
Wedding Crashers, his brother.
Owen Wilson.
Yeah.
Wilson.
Yeah. And it was good. It was about I don't know. It's kind of hard to explain. It was about the whole Matrix kind of thing in a way.
Sure.
It was, but it's animated and it's weird.
Sure.
It has like a weird effect to it, but it was one of those movies where it's like, this
basically, yeah,
government shit.
The premise is what would happen if someone uploads their consciousness to an AI framework.
They already talked about that.
I'm just saying. So this
That's
movie,
gonna happen.
This movie,
Elon already talking about it.
So why is he cameoing in this movie?
Who?
Ooh, Elon.
Oh, Elon.
Elon.
That's why I don't fuck with Elon, bro.
Well,
I don't fuck with Elon.
The thing about it is that the movie goes in a way where there's things I don't know anyone personally, is what I'll say. I don't know what his intentions are, but I mean, ultimately, the whole greenhouse gas electric car thing, I rock with it. You
I
what
rock
mean?
with that too, of course,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? But in terms of like the AI, the intentions of Neuralink, I mean, I don't know.
Are you familiar with the deep state?
Elaborate. I don't know.
How would you elaborate the
put me
deep
on.
state? Basically, the
Elite.
the ones really running, that's controlling everything.
Sure.
I feel like he's part of that club. He's part of that deep state club.
Yeah, I mean, someone.
I'm at the point now where I believe if you make an X amount of millions, you're part of.
You see what I'm saying?
You're part of something.
When you pass a certain line, I mean, there's definitely like guilds. I'm sure that after a certain, you get your Evite to Bohemian Grove. You feel me? Guilds. You know what I mean? Like you get your Evite. And they're like, yeah, we're sacrificing goats over here, like for a higher power.
Babies.
Yeah. Listen, we can get into. I mean, you know what Daylight talks about. So like we get into.
But that's why I love Daylight, because he on that type of talk. He's talking about adrenochrome. He's talking
I'm
about.
talking like, bro.
Like,
listen, man. There was some conversations that are taking place that is like very, So if you know, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I think in a way, people aren't ready for that. People definitely aren't ready for that. But it's very real. And so when certain people, Bezos, Musk,
all of them, bro.
Zuckerberg.
How do you feel about? You keep up with politics?
I'm sorry.
Do you keep up with politics?
I try to touch it just to see what's going on. But
so do you feel a way about Andrew Yang? With this whole, like, he's trying to,
okay,
the one about the AI dude.
Yeah, I'm familiar.
I just feel a way because he preaches about how AI is taking our jobs away and is gonna really take over humanity. But then again, he gets co-signed by Elon and he's all with it. He's for it. That's kind of like that defeats your whole purpose.
Yeah, I think that with Andrew Yang, I think he's a very practical person, and in a way, I do think he's like for instance, like I rock with people who understand this. Okay, so this is a bar I've heard from an artist like a long time ago, but basically it was like, and I carry this with me because I think it carries more importance than even that artist intended to. But it's like, if you want to beat the system, understand it first. So I've carried that with me for years, and in a way, I feel like I would rather have someone whom understands. Okay, you code. You're a project manager. You own a company that has some sort of interface of AI that's helping you on the bottom line to be able to cut X revenue for your whatever, your profit and loss. So in a way, because Andrew Yang has a little bit more familiarity, I'll send you a name, but I was watching interviews for Jaron Lanier. Is this like Caucasian dude whom has like dreads and stuff, and he's like talking about like, yeah, weird, but but I'm saying like, but he has, but the thing is like he was early.
Dude.
He was early in the game when it came to, he built a company. He's basically the person. He's like the godfather of VR, basically, and he sold a company to Google early in the game, and he's basically like one of the OG like Silicon Valley people. So in a way, like, yeah, I don't know. Open the door.
Keep going.
Yes, it's like one of the OG Silicon Valley people, and basically it's almost like aligned with. There's a lot of conversations about AI. There's a lot of conversations about privacy, and there's a lot of conversations about us getting recouped for our IP because our human intellect and our intuition is what's building the framework of the cerebral digital mind. And so what Lanier was talking about, or Jaron Lanier, he was mentioning, he was like, okay, like, I think that we are giving all this information, like patterns of how we drive, things we talk about, topics, the way that we describe things, dialect. There's certain things we're feeding the
My car knows my destinations, when, where, how, why, when.
And that's the thing is that, and for that to have parallelism with Snowden, and the idea of you never not being in a place where they never not know where you are. Like,
it knows where I go. Like, if I started in the morning, it'll tell me, it'll give me automatically directions to work, time, travel, like all of that, right? I'm like, okay, I understand that part.
Right.
Then, say if I want to go on lunch, based on the time, it'll know where I'm going. I'm like, yo, okay, this
Like,
is.
does it like, give you like, oh, these are the most optimal routes to the food around you?
It sends him to Chipotle.
It's like, look, yeah, we're at a quarter tank, but you
No,
know
he
what I
goes
mean?
to
I rock
Chipotle
with
every
you,
day.
you feel me? I feel that. I feel that. That's all good. Chipotle needs customers.
It'll tell me how long I gotta, you know, how long it'll take to get home. It'll tell me like when I'm gonna go edit. It tells me all that.
Wow.
That shit creeps me out.
And in a way, like, the thing is, like, in the mantra is you're given a lot of these free services or these services that are like, they seem hyper convenient, but there's, 600 pages of terms and conditions jargon that you're agreeing to, and you're ultimately, relinquishing, you're relinquishing what we call IP, which is something that a lot of artists relinquish all the time by signing these 900-degree deals. Shout out to Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2, because it would be 360, but we really didn't. Okay, so ultimately, it's like these artists are signing away their IP when they give other people their rights, their intellectual property, and everyone has this intellectual property because AI is being based off of our maneuvers as human beings. It's studying what we're doing. It's studying our medical field. It's studying how we creatively. Basically, what I'm saying is that in 50 years, because of, I'm not sure if you've ever seen videos of voice-generated videos where it's actually an AI compiling other people's voices. So imagine this: it's 2050, and you say, "Hey, I want to listen to Alexa, I want to listen to H the Izzo by Jay-Z over Education by Freddie Gibbs on the Bandana album in French." Okay.
That'd be fire, actually, though. Imagine if you could.
So here's the thing. So most
That's
people.
a fire.
Alexa.
He just said H to the Izzo over Bandana beat. Like, that would be fire, actually.
So what I'm saying is that, like, in terms of options, yeah, would it be fire for sure? But that's what they're wrapping it up. All this,
Alexa.
they're wrapping it up in convenience.
Roll me up.
You know what I mean? But the thing,
Roll me a blunt.
And another one on top of that. Please,
what I mean?
Alexa, I beg of you.
attach that to a little prosthetic arm, you done, bro. That's it. You know
Ah.
what I mean? You have two cyborg arms. No servos. You know what I mean?
I'd attach them to my back.
I'm gonna come home to an Android while cooking them dinner, bro.
You know what I mean? Doc Ock, you feel me?
Yeah. Unlimited got, bro.
Limited got. She ain't gonna get no law jock either.
You gonna be able to adjust the settings on her and shit?
Yeah, I mean, that shit. Listen, bro. I log off
There
of
we
social
go.
media forever, bro.
Oh, man.
You know
Shout
what
out
I
to
mean?
Twitter.
Yeah, man. I was like, look, bro.
I'm gonna have like 3 of them. And they can't get jealous over each other. I'm be like, hey, all 3 of y'all, jealousy setting 0.
Yeah.
Jealousy setting 0.
Like that's how we rocking. Look, all of y'all just greet each other, get to know each other. I'm gonna take a few days off.
Oh, man.
Man.
You know, do what you
I'm
do.
not gonna lie, bro. When machines are taking care of that, it's gonna be so aggressive. It's gonna put human beings on their ass, bro. You be cool for.
Yo, imagine it's a plot twist and they're more of a headache than actual women.
Oh, dog.
Bro,
I'd never charge them. I don't plug that.
Bitch, I'm throwing water on you.
Man,
Now you killing it. You just gotta unplug it.
they running off of solar.
Nah, man. Yeah, they'll be on that solar by that side, bro. They're gonna have self-charging batteries.
You know, yeah.
You know how you just place
You don't think they're
phone
gonna
on
be
charge pads?
waterproof? What if she want to shower? You don't think she's gonna be waterproof?
Yeah, she's gonna. I mean, the same way your phone's waterproof, they're gonna definitely have those waterproof.
Okay, so we gonna just have to physically kill the bitch.
Yeah.
Like
Run it over.
Rip her head off and
Run
cut
it over.
all the wires and be like, look, bitch, you're not ever turning back on again.
They gotta be like a kill switch, like the G spot gotta be the kill switch.
It's not.
That's potentially. I mean, the minute you try that and it crushes your hand,
Don't, cause look,
with its
that-
quads,
like,
it's over.
it's not gonna be a G spot because she not like they're not gonna be created to feel like women. They're gonna be
They are.
created for
They are.
the pleasure of men.
Yeah,
which is women.
Yeah.
Okay, so the vagina, we don't truly care about the G spot. Like it don't feel.
Hey, did you ever hear that story about how Freaky Zeke, how he fucked the armpit and he got off to it with the condom?
That's wild. That's wild.
Shout out to Freaky Zeke. I was watching Breakfast Club. We were with Jim Jones on Breakfast Club. He just had
That
a share
is
of that.
freaky.
Wow.
But no, like
Was it like dark? I mean, what's that? Like, what's his
Nah,
KD? You feel me? Like,
He
what
just
kind of
said he
accuracy
said
is
he
that?
was drunk and he was just like, hey, armpits need love too. I'm like, all right.
That's when you know you're getting the serious bag. You feel me? People are real.
That's
like,
safe sex for real.
Yeah.
he ain't even raw dog it.
I know, right? He put the river on. What the fuck?
Like props, freaky.
Wow.
That's props.
I wonder if it was a black armpit though.
Like the dark.
Hold on, that came out wrong. Not like that, like it was a black person. Nah, you know, like when people have the black armpit. Yeah, my bad.
The darker armpits.
Wow, my bad. I said that. I was like, wait. No, I'm sorry. They're not like that.
Man. Oh, you see what predicament we're in right now, man.
Oh man.
Yeah, man.
We about to get out of here though, man.
That's that internet first impression, secondary impression in person type.
This is that OB podcast, bro.
Man, yes.
We keep it blunt over here.
Yes.
Any last words, bro, before we get out of here, before we wrap it up? You got shows coming up? You got anything coming up?
Yeah, I actually have a show coming up. Should be in Orange County. I think it's December.
County.
Yeah, December 9th.
December 9th.
is going to be coming up.
Orange County.
I was weaving up an opportunity to open at the observatory for injury reserve, but that didn't go through, and I was like, dang. But in a way, I'm also working on dropping some music, because the thing is like I realized that consistency is everything, and I'm just gonna keep on dropping until people give a shit.
You have projects out right now people can listen to? Just singles?
Predominantly singles.
Singles?
Yeah, predominantly singles.
Oh, so you haven't dropped an official whole body of work?
Well, the first project I dropped was an EP, and then basically the one record that was kind of like the standout record, I repackaged as a single visually, and then just kind of ran with that as like a single. But everything was like I just release singles right now because they're all marketing litmus tests, so I can identify my demographic.
Right.
So I can say, okay, the person who listens to me is like, he's 16, he was into skateboarding and whatever and this and that, and then I can identify that. And then when I meet my PR person, I can say, this is your job here, do it. You know, so in a way, that's the only reason I'm releasing singles, because I think a lot of people drop projects and it goes into an empty void.
Greg Newman.
You know what I mean?
This guy knows, and he's ready for war, and he's ready when the time comes. So y'all better get ready.
Yeah, man.
Stay ready.
Blunt.
We out this bitch, man. See y'all next week.
It's done.